Hello everybody, welcome to the MirrorLab. This lab is really about the law of reflection and how you can create an image with a plane mirror that is the same size and the same distance, pretty much just mirror imaged with a plane mirror. So we're studying plane mirrors here. Now there are actually two parts to this lab. You can read through it. We're not actually going to do part one because part two incorporates part one. We're just not going to do the angles. Now part one is where you basically end up with a drawing like what's shown in figure M1, and you can see these angles, and like AOD should be the angle of reflection, and DOP or POD would be the angle of incidence. So P is the pin, and we basically trace two lines from it, and then we create an image of it behind. But what we're going to do is part two, which is where you basically do that 3 times. Now, it may not make much sense yet, but hopefully as we go through the lab it will. So first of all, what you will need is a piece of cardboard, a piece of paper, 3 push pins, and a mirror. Doesn't even really matter what size the mirror is, but if you have a mirror that can stand up on its own, that would be better. I have this little piece of metal here to help me hold mine because you want it at as much of a 90-degree angle, so perpendicular with the table, as possible. And you can tape this piece of paper to the cardboard, and then I drew a line. That line is to tell me where my mirror is going to be. And then I put the 3 pins in the paper like a triangle. So I've made a triangle with those pins. Then I'm going to basically just showing you how you want to hold. Now I'm not quite holding it perfectly straight because it needs to be along this line, but I'm just kind of showing you how it's going to work in this picture. So you're going to use these 3 pins, and you're going to figure out where their mirror images are behind the mirror. That's our goal. So first thing, I'm going to draw a triangle with these 3 pins. So I draw my little triangle, connecting all of my 3 lines. And then what I'm going to do, and this is the tricky part, so I have my triangle, I'm going to put the mirror up as I have it here, and then I'm going to look along the mirror. Now, let me show you a video of exactly what I mean. So here the mirror is up. Oops. I've got this mirror, and the mirror is kind of standing straight up and down, because if it's not perpendicular, it'll distort the distances. And I'm not looking at the actual red pin. I'm looking at the mirror image of the red pin. And I'm going to draw a line using this ruler from my eye to the pin. So first thing I have to do is line this up as perfectly as possible. And I think I got a pretty good image here. So you're going to see me move. I'm tapping the ruler over just a little bit, trying to get that lined up just perfectly with the pin itself. See how that pin is just lined up with the ruler? Now I'm going to have to put the camera down to draw a line. Then I'm going to draw a line along that ruler to tell me this is the line, this is the reflected light. So light has come off of this, and you can kind of see it, it's very light, but light came off of the red pin and it went into the mirror, and then it reflected off of the mirror, and that light followed that light line to my eyeball, and that's the line that the rays of light took. Okay, so I'm gonna like to show that video one more time and kind of speed it up here, but you can kind of see right as I line up this pin right with the ruler, and then I draw that line. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken out this line, make it a little darker. I couldn't make it very dark when I was holding the camera, even though I'm kind of holding this camera right now, so I'm doing this one-handed. I'm holding the ruler and writing. So there's my line. That was the line that my eye was looking down. Okay, so that was the line that my eye was looking down. But I don't just want that line. I also want the line from the pin to the mirror. So this is kind of what part 1 was. Sorry for all the movement I had to move it around to get the ruler just right. So I have the ruler and I draw my line from the pin to the mirror. And there you have it. So this was one ray of light from the pin to the mirror, from the mirror to my eyeball that I've drawn out. Now I'm going to repeat that exact same procedure, but I'm going to do it on the other side of the image. So this is on the right side of the pin, but now I'm going to do it on the left side of the pin. Same procedure, but on the left side of the pin. So you can kind of see how everything is set up here. Move me out of the way. And so I've lined it up on the other side. It's kind of hard to show. Basically, I did the same thing, but on the other side. Get that right. See if I can find the right spot. So you can see how it's lined up, but on the other side of the pin now. Okay. So we'll, whoops, doesn't want to move me now. So we did it on the other side. And then when it's done, you'll see now I've got two triangles. One from the left following the ray of light from my eye to the mirror to the pin, and one from the right from my eye to the mirror to the pin. And these, you need at least two lines for each pin. Okay? So you do that to try, and you want to get, when you're looking at down the ruler, you want to be at the same level as the ruler as possible, because you really want to get right along that line, and the closer you get, the better. Now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to switch to more images now, I continue the lines behind the mirror, because this is a virtual image. The image is behind the mirror, and I see where they intercept. And I labeled them R so that I knew it was the red pin for now, but I'll change the labeling later because we want to use A, B, C, and A prime, B prime, C prime, where the primes are the mirrored image. But where those two lines intercept is where my eyes were seeing the red pin behind the mirror. And if I did it perfectly, which I didn't quite, because you can tell this isn't quite a right angle, but step one of the lab is to actually draw this perpendicular and then measure all of the angles. But you don't have to do that. We're just doing part two. So for now, this is what you would have. But we should see that all of these angles are the same if it was done perfectly or just really close to one another. So what I did then is I did the same exact procedure, but I did it for the white pin and the blue pin. And you'll see where my eyes are, the little drawings if you look on the drawing, you'll see little images of eyeballs to show you where my eye was. So this was 6 times that I did this. 2 for the red, 2 for the white, and 2 for the blue. Once from each pin on the left and once from each pin on the right. And then I carried my lines all the way back through. Now I didn't go ahead and I didn't draw all of the lines back to the pins after the red pin because I was just doing that for demonstrations. What you want are the lines that go behind the mirror so that you can figure out where the images of the pins were. So now you see I have a pin A, I have an A pin, a B pin, and a C pin, and I have an A prime, B prime, and C prime, which are where my lines intercept behind the mirror. Now I couldn't do this with I don't have like a huge mirror. I just want you to see that you can move the mirror back and forth. The mirror doesn't have to be stationary. You just have to keep it along that line. And you can see that for the right images, that you can see that the eye paths go into the mirror and then back to where they are. And then for the other one, when I'm on the left side, I just move the mirror to the left side. And I could do both images. So then when I was all done, and I had my A, B prime, and C prime. I drew some darker lines so that I could see. And what you may start to see now is that the triangle behind the mirror looks a lot like the triangle in front of the mirror, just the mirror image of it. And then I measured. So this is what we're really looking for. So this would be length A prime, or no, sorry, B prime, C prime is what I'm measuring right now. And for me, B prime, C prime was 8.2 centimeters. But I want you to try to do this lab yourself. And if you need a mirror, you can come in and get one from me or whatever materials you need. So I measured all of my distances. B prime, C prime, A prime, C prime, A prime, B prime, A, B, B, C, A, C. And what I want you to notice is AC was 10.2 centimeters, A prime C prime 10.8 centimeters. Now I tried to be really careful, but it was hard for me to hold the camera while I did this. But you can see that they're not going to be exactly the same because I'm not perfect. But it's pretty close. And actually I can do a little trick here. So I'm going to take those lines and make them darker using a Sharpie. And then if I fold it over on itself, I can actually look. So I fold it along the mirror line, And if I look, they actually do line up pretty closely. The A dot was at almost exactly the same spot. I can't remember if this was C or B. No, sorry. At the right of your screen is the B prime mark, and the B prime and the B lined up almost perfectly. The A prime and the A were only a little bit off. Not too bad, actually. So I can see how good of a job I did. But what I want from you is a picture like this. A picture of where your mirror was, your starting triangle, and your ending triangle. And then on the lab sheet, you will tell me length AB, length BC, length CA, A prime, B prime, B prime, C prime, C prime, A prime, and then you'll have errors for each one. That's all the data. It's more about procedures. Can you create this drawing with your mirror? And if you notice that, so it kind of, the distance behind the mirror should equal the distance in front of the mirror. The size of the image should equal when it's a plane mirror. And we also know that all of these angles, like if from like the central diamond that I drew, your angle of incidences and your angle of reflections should all be the same. So hopefully you can get this lab, you can figure out how to get this lab done. Like I said, if you need a mirror, contact me and I can arrange for one to be available for you to pick up. I just need you to return it because I only have a few plane mirrors that can be used for this. But really any mirror. In fact, one of the mirrors that I use is out of just a bathroom mirror. Or if you have like if one of your parents has, say, a vanity or a dresser with a mirror on top, anything. Now, but like I said, if you need a mirror, just let me know and we can try and get this done. Or you can actually come in after school and do it here one day. So that's it for the MirrorLab. Just let me know if you have any questions.